welcome to Secrets of a Seamstress, episode 4, and we are here with Beth from Boosted Tape. Welcome.
Thank you.
Right, so it's tradition that on Secrets of a Seamstress, we have a tequila rose, okay? So,
it's on brand.
Yeah?
Do we cheers?
Don't cheers?
Can we? It doesn't get easier any time.
Okay, so what is your brand and, what's it all about?
My brand is Boosted Tape. We're a boob tape company, but we're based on all body sizes, all body shapes. We are from a size AA to a double J. We sell everything from boob tape, nipple petals, accessories, and we've just launched a anti-chafe balm as well.
I love that though,
It's the best thing ever.
The way you can do your hair and everything with it, it's just amazing.
Yeah, so we did mainly make it to be like, to stop your thighs from chafing, and then the more samples I got, I was like, I can slick my hair back with this. I can put it on my shoes to stop my sandals rubbing. Like, there were so many different ways I could use it, and I was like, I need this.
What every girl needs.
Every girl. Because I'm sick of having 100 products in my bag.
Yeah, and hairspray, it's one thing after another, isn't it? So how did you come up with your brand, Boosted Tape?
So Boosted was actually only meant for me. It was never meant to be a brand. I used to be a fashion buyer and I'd met factories all over the world, and
Amazing.
I needed boob tape for myself. I tried every brand under the sun and they're all made for perky, small boobs, which makes no sense because then you don't need it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find anything that worked. So I got it for myself.
Yeah.
Got samples for myself. I think in total I had 44 samples. I've still got them in the house with different pros and cons to each one that I liked on them. And then my friend was saying to me, like, if you're struggling, Beth, try and sell it.
Yeah.
So I bought 80 rolls and I was petrified, and I thought, if I'm stuck with 80 rolls, I've got boob tape for the rest of my life. Like, that's fine. And then, we sold out within 2 hours.
I think you're proper cornered the market though, because, every girl needs boob tape, and it's not like you've just come out with one boob tape. You've come out with the, the nipple pads, the sticky, the double-sided. Like, I use them on shoots.
The double-sided are so underrated.
Honestly, like, it holds the dresses in place so good, and I think I've sent everyone to you.
Yeah, we literally get a knock on the door and like, hey, you just sent me. I don't know what I need, but this is my dress. Can you just tell me what I need?
But you know what I love about you as well? The way, like, girls come in and you show them actually how to do it and stuff like that.
I think that's where like other brands really miss out, and I want to keep that. No matter how big we go, I always want that personal aspect. Like, we offer like a free service where you can send me a picture of your dress, or you can come into us, depending if you're local, and we'll do tutorials for you, your shape and that outfit. And I think that's where other brands differ. Like, it's not one size fits all.
Yeah, to be fair, every time, for years, I've looked for boob tape, and literally you could only go into like Superdrug or the Tesco and you get like this little tiny roll and you wouldn't even know how to put it on.
It's
it was
scary.
like proper winging it when you were going out.
It is scary.
And if you're a big girl or got a big bust, it is scary. And that one person that you can go to and say, listen, I don't know how to put this on. Can you help me? And it's good that the girls feel so comfortable with it as well.
Yeah, that's why I think I put my face on a lot, and I still want to do that no matter where the brand goes, because people feel like they're speaking to me. And don't get me wrong, most of the time they are speaking to me. I am the one on the DMs, or it can be Meg. But they feel comfortable because it's quite an intimate part of your body, and it's embarrassing. Like, I hated my boobs for years, and you don't want to get them out, you don't want to show them, so never mind talking to someone about them.
Yeah.
So I hope that people feel comfortable to speak to me.
Well, everyone I've spoke to raves about the brand and loves you. They love your personality. You're like a good personality on the socials as well. Everyone can relate to you as well. So what is your bestseller?
It actually differs, and it's weird to say because the chafing balm is 5 weeks old today.
Yeah.
And we've sold 1,500 balms.
That is amazing.
And we were sold out for 2.5 weeks. So in about 3 weeks, we sold 1,500 balms. And I love it, but I do think it's a seasonal product. So we're in the right season for the balm.
Summer, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you'll be able to use it in winter on like sequins on your dresses. It won't make them rub on your skin, your high heels and stuff. But it is a very seasonal product. So I don't really want to run with that and say it's my best seller, because I haven't had enough data to really know.
Yeah.
But the tape is always, we have 6 different shades in the tape, but it's all the exact same tape. It just depends on your skin tone or your outfit.
You know what? That's amazing that you've done that as well, because, other brands that do the tape, they don't do skin colour.
They call it skin, and I'm like, well, whose skin?
Yeah, like everyone's different, aren't they?
I wanted to make sure that we done that from the start, because speaking to a lot of girls that have got a darker skin tone or really pale, we're always an afterthought, or we're a PR stunt where we're like, look at us, how amazing we are, we're giving you something, and it's like, well, no, it should be just there.
Yeah, it should be there to purchase, shouldn't it? Do you have a manufacturer?
Yes, so we have a few now, which is weird to say. I was scared to sign to one factory. I get my tape made overseas, and we get our removal oil made in the UK in Liverpool.
Oh, that's amazing.
So hopefully, as we grow, I'd love to get more made locally, because I feel like it's good.
The only thing is, you've got to still have your business mind on. Local and UK, in my experience, are really expensive.
So expensive.
And especially if you're a small business. So you'd have got to keep that in mind. And I feel like the customer's got to keep that in mind. If you want us to be able to be at that price point where it's affordable, this is what we need to do.
And I think there's a misconception that overseas means like cheap quality.
Yeah.
And it's really not. Like some of the factories, they are just so much more advanced than we are. And the way they work is so different to the way we work. Like I know my factory pay their workers right. And I've seen, I'm going over soon, and I've seen proof that it's not a sweatshop style. And I'd pay that little bit more for my products as well, to know that it's the right products being used. And I do think there's a misconception where people see the word like China or India and think, oh my God, it's cheap quality. It doesn't mean that. It's just their process of working is just so much more advanced than the UK.
Yeah. So how did you find your manufacturer? Was it like Google? Like, did you have to travel? Because a lot of the girls that I've interviewed, they literally went on Google, got a couple of names of factories, and then they travelled to visit the factory, to see the quality of the stuff.
Yeah, I think with my manufacturer, I was in a really privileged position. I used to be a fashion buyer.
Yeah.
I'd been sent to all these countries, and I'd been sent to different factories.
So you knew where to go, really.
I hadn't been to factories for my product, but I knew what to look for, what words to say, what the terminology means. Like I knew, because they come at you with all these like MOQs and all like stuff, and I'm like, some people don't know what that is. And I never went to uni to be a buyer. I got through into it, and I learned on the job. But I would say it's quite a taboo subject. I think people don't like to talk about where they get the factories from. Yeah. But there's so many. I think Google's going to be your best friend.
Yeah.
And then there's other platforms that you can just go on and get samples from. The reason why people travel is because samples take so long to perfect.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got 44, but I was never going to make a brand. So in my head, I wasn't on a time scale, so it didn't really matter to me. But I would say if you're willing to travel and you can travel, you normally get better prices. They take you a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
And you get that like personalised. These samples are there and there, and you can see the different fabric. You can see different ways you can have it. And I do think it's better to travel, but nowadays you don't have to.
Because there's Zoom, there's all kinds of messaging apps. So you don't really have to. I think people just get a bit worried, don't they?
It's a big expense at the beginning as well. Like, don't put yourself...
handing money over that, like a large amount of money over to someone that you've just been chatting to on email and stuff. So I think it's just a little bit of a worry. But if you don't take the risk, you don't get ahead.
I go on Zoom to my manufacturers all the time, and I speak to them on WhatsApp, which is a bit more personal, so you get to know them a bit more. Where I think if you're emailing and only looking on like certain places, like you can get a bit scared to pay money because you don't know if you can trust them.
Yeah. So with shipping and stuff like that, do you find customs really hard to get your stuff through on a time scale?
Yeah, this is what I'm struggling with at the minute, because I used to buy smaller quantities, which you think when you're that small, being big is going to be amazing and it's going to be easier, but it's harder because everything's heavier, so you can't really get it by air anymore. And if you do get it by air, your custom bill literally smacks you. Like the price of air now is ridiculous anyway.
Is it?
And then your customs is just on top of that, because you've got to think to yourself, when you get a price off your manufacturer, add shipping onto it, add your customs onto it, add duty and tax, add VAT. And then by the time it comes into you, then when you sell it, you've got to give the government VAT and like anything like that. And I think that's when it annoys me when people online go, and you can buy this on Shein for £1. I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same product for one.
Yeah.
But as a brand, I'm not making that 100% markup. Everything's coming out of that. And customs is something you've got to get your head around before you put your prices out. Because if you launch with a price and then get hit with a customs bill and it's took all your profit.
You know what? This is where I go a bit wrong, because I get like fabric printed here, and I put the price up, and it's amazing for a few weeks, and I've now had to change my supplier for printing me fabric. Now I've got to get it from overseas, and it's a lot dearer. And people think, oh, it's a lot cheaper going overseas. When printing this fabric, what situation I'm in, it's gone a lot more expensive. So now I'm stuck at a price point with my customers because I can't put the price up. So now my profit margins are down now. But again, it's a lesson learned. What's it like selling on PLT?
That was the most surreal experience of my entire life. Like, I am in that generation that grew up when PLT launched. Like, I remember being on the website when it was like a really blocky website and it didn't really work properly, and you'd get stuff sent to you in like grey unbranded bags, and nothing had Pretty Little Thing branded on it. It was like from wholesalers. Yeah. And they actually approached us, which was crazy. And we spoke to them, and I remember not really thinking that it would go anywhere. I thought, oh, we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be like this. Or I'm not going to be able to fulfill what they need, or I just thought it wasn't going to happen. And then we launched November, which was Black Friday as well. Yeah,
so it was really good.
It was a lot going on at once, and I wouldn't recommend that type of launch, but it was amazing. Like, being on that platform, a lot of my customers buy from that platform, and it links us in really well, and it gets us out there to such a wider audience.
Yeah, they've got so much pull, basically, haven't they?
It's amazing the amount they sell a minute is like ridiculous.
Yeah, I could imagine. So what's the pros and cons of selling on PLT?
Obviously, the pro is getting the name out there. Like, it's amazing. Like, the amount of customers that know about us now from all around the UK and the world, really. But I would say, if you are thinking of your brand and you want it to be stocked in places, a lot of places, this is something I didn't know, a lot of places have payment terms. So they'll pay you 90 days, 60 days or 30 days after they've received the stock, which doesn't seem too long, but you've got to think, I've got to order that stock in and pay my manufacturer, wait however long for it to come into the UK. I've got to then send it to them, and then they pay 30 to 60 days after. So you've got to have that cash flow in place. Like, I always think I'd love to be stocked here, there and everywhere. And when I actually sit down and think, I wouldn't be able to fulfill that yet. So it's kind of like, don't run before you can walk. Try and make sure you can afford to do it.
Right. Do you have a HQ?
Yes. We've just moved into our brand new one in Aintree. Right by Page.
So do you also have a team?
I've got one member of staff now. She's nearly been with me for a year, but I did do boosters on my own for a year. I mean, I say on my own. My mum would be in on every day off she had. My friends would be in whenever they finished work. Like, I was never completely on my own, but hiring someone made the biggest difference.
It's always good to have like friends and family help out, but when you get to that certain point, you need to take people on, because the stress is just horrendous.
It was the scariest thing I ever done, because I've got to know now, if I didn't make enough sales, I didn't pay myself. That was my biggest fear. But now I've got someone else's wages to pay. I've got rent to pay. I've got responsibilities, but I've got to think to myself, I could still do that and pack all the orders and do all the customer service and do all the socials. Probably wouldn't be on Pretty Little Thing because I wouldn't have time to negotiate contracts. Probably wouldn't be doing all the amazing things I'm doing because I just wouldn't have the time, and I was burnt out. Like, it's tiring, and hiring someone's an expense, but you've got to think in the future what it's allowing you to do.
A lot of the girls I speak to say that the people that work for them basically pay for themselves, because the business is thriving that much that they are burnt out and they are so stressed out. So when they take a step back and these people are, taking over from them, the money that's coming in, it's benefiting them so much more.
100%, because I think you can put all the pressure on yourself to do everything, and you can't do everything. And like, it's okay to say that you don't know everything either. Like, hiring someone that knows something that you don't is the biggest power, I think. I've had bosses in the past that the ego wouldn't allow them to say, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't need to hire you if I knew how to do it. Like having people, I even think that just in life, having people around you that have different views or different skill sets to you are only ever going to help you, because it takes the pressure off yourself from learning it.
Yeah, it's going to make the brand thrive, isn't it? Having so many different opinions, and, you know, it can only elevate the brand.
And I don't want someone who's just going to agree with me on everything, because there's no point having you there. Like, I could have a really bad idea, but in my head it might seem good and I like it. Meg, who works for me, always goes to me, maybe just calm down for a second and then have a think about it.
I feel like you need that person who's going to rein you in.
Yeah, because I just get too emotional, and I think that's a big thing when you own a brand, the emotional drag that it has on you.
So do you ever have any negative feedback though?
Yeah, we do. We have people that, there's a process of wearing us and a process of removing us, and people don't listen to the processes.
Yeah.
And if we're obviously tape and it sticks to your skin, if you rip that off your skin, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, of course.
So we have put everywhere how to remove. Like, I can't shout about it anymore.
Yeah.
And people will get blisters and they'll shout at me and they'll never admit that they didn't take it off properly.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Or I'll have trolls on some of my videos where I've got, like, obviously don't get all my chest out, but where I've got parts of my body out.
But that's your brand. How else are you going to learn girls who, you know, aren't local to put the tape on? Like,
it's only
I don't know what they expect.
Sometimes as well, I think when you have a negative comment or a troll, your engagement goes up. So now I've got a thicker skin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you've just got my engagement up, so thanks.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? So how do you plan your content and your shoots?
Really wish I said I was really organised and we had a plan, but I'm really not. A lot of the content you'll see on our TikTok or on our Instagram, I've made that minute from when I posted it. And our rough and ready content does the best.
Yeah.
And I really want to be more planned out, but I think with the nature of TikTok, you just can't be. Like a trend, I was reading something the other day, and a trend's currently lasting 1.5 days. So if you're
Isn't that mad?
So if you're waiting to do a shoot till the end of the week to get that content, the trend's gone.
I mean. Like, we just can't keep up. Like, we're in between, like, timeless and fast fashion. So, you know, you can't keep up with the trends. Like, if you make a dress, you know, on the Monday, majority of girls are buying it from PLT or I Saw It First the next week.
Yeah.
And, you know, but you've got to make a new one then.
And they've got the facilities to make it, design it, get it on a model and get a shoot done within an hour probably.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, I think with every business, you know, now with TikTok, with Instagram, everything's fast paced. Everything's a big turnaround.
You've got to lose that sense of control, I think, as well. Like, I had a vision of what my content would look like and what it would be and an aesthetic. And if a trend comes out that didn't fit that aesthetic, am I going to miss out on that trend because I want it to look a certain way?
Yeah.
Where with TikTok, I'll just do a video, then post it now. It was hard to get my head around. I was sitting there for hours editing, and now I'm just like, right, it's up. And people like that vibe. It's hard.
Yeah. It's content and photo shoots, all that. Socials are just really hard, I think, especially to follow and try and get your followers up and stuff like that, and following the trends. As you said, a day, like, that's crazy.
And like with followers as well, I think TikTok's changed the world of followers. Like, you don't really follow someone on TikTok. If you watch their content a lot, TikTok will notice that and give you their content. So there's not really a reason to follow anyone. And it's to put into perspective, like when we launched on Pretty Little Thing, I think we had 12k on TikTok and 2.5k on Instagram, which is really small considering to some brands. And I don't think your following reflects your success. And it's so easy to get hung up on a follow account. And as long as I'd rather have 1,000 people follow me that will buy from me and believe in the product than 100,000 followers that don't really care and won't engage with my content.
So that's what I find. I find that, you know, I've had my Instagram for 10 years plus and I've got 30,000 followers, maybe a little bit more. But I know that my Instagram, my socials have grew, you know, naturally. I haven't bought followers. I haven't really done a big thing. Like, I haven't done like a big, say, stunt or anything to get followers. It's just literally been my outfits, my designs that are bringing the followers in. And I'd say most of my followers do buy from me.
And they're going to stick around.
Yeah. So I think that's a big advantage as well. Do you use influencers?
We do, but in a very different way. So I'd worked in marketing and fashion based for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it used to be, you put something on a Love Islander, it would sell out. It's not like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's in a good way that it's not like that anymore, to be honest. A lot of the creators we use is through the TikTok affiliate section. So they earn commission if they sell our product, which I think it's a bit more organic. Like, you're not giving them a fee to say something. I never tell, even if I was going to pay someone, which I've never had yet, I'd never tell them what to say. I want it to be really organic, and they know their audience better than anyone else. Who am I to tell them what to say into something? But we use a lot of real women. Like, a lot of our main TikTok creators are, I've got one lady who's over 50 who's got kids and she wears us. I've got a lady who's just got married in her 30s and she's got a real body. And we use younger girls, older girls, different shapes and sizes, different skin tones, and they're just real people, which I like. TikTok is like that.
Yeah.
It's not like a pretty girl on a picture. Because I'm not going to lie, if I put boob tape on someone who had the most perfect body, it's not really going to make that effect. It will work.
Yeah.
But they don't need it.
Yeah.
So for people who need it and who you can relate to, and I love watching creators now who look like me and have a body like me, and I'm really short, I've got boobs, I've got a bum. So to me, watching a model try an outfit on doesn't do anything for me, because I'm like, I won't look like that in that outfit.
Yeah.
Where when I look at creators now who are a size 12, size bigger than a 12, got curves, haven't got toned bodies, I think
that's it,
I relate to that a little bit more.
Yeah. So then your followers do then, don't they? How do you find selling on TikTok?
It's got highs and lows.
Yeah.
It's an amazing platform, especially if you're starting out. It doesn't charge you to be on there like a website will. Mm-hmm. And they only take 5% of every sale. So relatively low compared to like a lot of websites or a lot of other platforms. Mm-hmm. Quite easy to set up.
Yeah.
You can test products out on there as well. Like if it doesn't really sell, take it off. Like you're not really committing to too much. But it does have its lows. That you don't have control of TikTok Shop. They change their rules every single day.
Do they? Yeah.
They will change algorithms. They will change what they want. 1 minute they want short videos. The next minute they want long. Then they want lives. But then I don't want to look like I'm on QVC just flogging things on the lives. And it's hard. I do love TikTok Shop. It's why we've got a brand, but it is changing. I will always say to people, use it and utilize it, but also have another platform like a website, because TikTok don't give you any of that data. Yeah. So when you're on
you don't know kind of where
you don't know where your customers coming from, and on a website you can tell where people are from, their age ranges, you get their email addresses, you learn your customer, but TikTok don't give you any of that data. So it's hard to retarget people, isn't really a thing. Yeah. You can't build that like database up to know who you're targeting, because they don't give you it. Yeah. But it's a good way to get your name out there and for people to try your products. It's such a quick, I know myself now, I'll just be scrolling overnight and buy stuff I don't even really need.
Yeah. So it is a good platform, but being an actual seller on there has its downfalls.
If you want a brand, it's an amazing way to start, and it's an amazing way to get that income coming in quite quickly. Yeah. But I'd never use it as your end goal. I'd use it as a way to get to somewhere.
To get there. So, if someone give you £1 million, investors £1 million into your brand, what would you do with it?
I think the biggest thing I've learned from owning a business is £1 million, not a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've learned. But no, it is a lot of money. I'd love it. Please give me it if you're watching. I think I would love to have stock constantly in. Yeah. Selling out seems such a good thing, but then if you're not making sales for them weeks while you're out of stock, or the hype might leave you, or something like that. So I'd love to have a huge amount of stock that I know is there. Yeah. I'd love to hire more people. I love it when the unit's busy. My friends come and work from there all the time, when you're bouncing ideas off people and building a community and bringing more products out at a drop of a hat. Like, I don't think people realise how much money goes into product.
No, they don't. They don't know.
They see the end.
They see the end goal, but, how much, longer nights, money, the stress, the anxiety. Sometimes when people start a brand, they are the customer service, they are, the postman, they are the designer, They are the marketer, they're everything. So I don't think people realise that, especially if you're good at marketing and your Instagram looks a certain way, people just don't realise the work and everything that goes into it and know that you're still that single person, running that business.
It's like with Boosted at the start. I started with Boosted with £500. That was stock, website, graphics.
Yeah.
So I made my own logo. I built my own website. I done the customer service. I was making the TikToks. I was learning TikTok shop because that was still brand new. No one knew what was going on. I was trying to tackle Instagram when the algorithm of Instagram was at its lowest. I was a bit of everything while still working. I'm really lucky now that it's my full-time job, but it wasn't at the start. And a lot of small businesses, you still work full-time around it.
Course.
And I just think that's so hard. So I think as much as you'd be given £1 million in money, it would give you a lot of time to just think and discuss what you'd actually want, where you want to go.
Yeah. Well, that's my next question. Where do you see the brand in 5 years?
It's actually really mad because Boosted's not even 2 yet.
Yeah.
So when I actually think about what we've done, because I never stop.
Yeah.
I never actually think until things like this where I'm like, oh my God, in 2 years we've actually done a lot.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be in stores. I'd love people to be able on a Saturday last minute while they've got their outfit to run into Boots, run into Superdrug.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to be in like Sephora. Like
that would be amazing, wouldn't
but
it?
I think I'd love to be more worldwide as well. Like we are known mainly in the UK. Don't get me wrong, we do get international orders, but I'd love to be just the ease of finding us, and we're affordable because I had a larger bust and my friends were buying bras for £4 and I was buying bras for £54.
Yeah.
And I think just having that ease of anyone can just run into a shop when they're last minute on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Or like they've just had their hair done and there's a Boots outside, so they just run in and get one.
That's it. It's like convenience, isn't
Convenience, because I have loads of people and I take stock home with me on a weekend because I know, and I'm that last minute person,
Someone's
which is why.
going to text you saying, can you drop this or can I come grab this off
My dad is like my number one receptionist in the house now. He's like this with his little pink bags, giving them to everyone.
Love that,
yeah, I'd love to be a bit more accessible in the next 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Well,
scary.
You'll get there. Thank you, Beth, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it.
If you like this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Secrets of a Seamstress.